Emma met Josh during their first year of college. They fell into each other's arms with the kind of ease that made people say, they're meant to be. 5 years in, their relationship had weathered everything: family deaths, job losses, even a brief breakup. They moved in together. They were planning a wedding. Then came Rachel. Rachel was Josh's new co-worker. She was funny, brilliant, and kind in ways Emma hadn't been in a while, not because she didn't care, but because life had numbed her. She worked long shifts at the hospital as a nurse, came home exhausted, and barely had the energy to talk. Josh started confiding in Rachel. Just little things. Then deeper things. One night, Emma found a late-night text that simply read, "I wish things were different." The emotional affair had been going on for 6 months. When Emma confronted Josh, he broke down, not denying it, not excusing it, but saying, "It was never physical. But I loved her in a way I didn't know I could anymore." That was the truth. And it gutted Emma more than any physical betrayal could have. She didn't leave. Not right away. They tried therapy. She slept in the guest room. She checked his phone obsessively, even though he offered transparency. She started drinking more. She laughed less. Josh changed jobs. They stopped planning the wedding. One night, months later, he asked her, "Do you still love me?" She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Would you have told me if I hadn't found out?" His silence told her everything. Emma eventually left, not out of anger, but because the truth had changed her. She still loved him, maybe always would. But she couldn't unknow what she now knew, that the deepest betrayals aren't the ones that involve bodies but hearts. Emma didn't leave with a suitcase slammed shut or angry shouting echoing off the walls. Instead, it was a quiet morning, the sky painted in soft grays. Josh had gone for a run, like he always did on Saturdays. She sat at their kitchen table, drinking coffee from the mug he'd bought her 2 Christmases ago, the one that read "Future Mrs." in cursive gold letters. She stared at the fading print and wondered when she'd stopped believing in that future. She packed slowly, deliberately. Just the essentials: a few clothes, her nursing journals, a framed photo of her mother, and the small cactus Josh had given her on their 2nd anniversary. The cactus was barely surviving like them. When he came home, sweaty and smiling, she was zipping up her bag. His smile faltered. "Where are you going?" Emma looked at him, really looked, and saw the weight in his eyes. He'd been waiting for this moment too. Maybe part of him was relieved. "To a friend's. Just for a while." He nodded. "Is there anything I can do?" She shook her head. "If there was, you would have done it 6 months ago." There was no dramatic goodbye. No last kiss. Just a soft, "Take care of yourself," as she walked out the door. At first, she thought she'd feel empowered, like she'd taken control. But grief doesn't reward you for making the right decision. It punishes you with silence. The first few nights in her friend's guest room were the hardest. She cried into a pillow like a teenager. She replayed every moment she could have done differently. Should she have asked him more questions about his day? Been less tired? More affectionate? But slowly, the fog began to lift. Emma started journaling again, something she hadn't done in years. At first, the entries were messy, filled with anger and questions she'd never get answers to. But soon, they became something else. Notes of gratitude. Memories from before the hurt. Hopes for who she could be without him. She also started walking every evening. It wasn't about exercise. It was about feeling something under her feet, proving to herself that she was still here, still moving forward. One night during a walk, she passed a little bookstore tucked between a bakery and a tattoo parlor. She almost didn't notice it. But the warm light spilling through the window drew her in. She wandered through the aisles like she was in a dream, running her fingers over spines and reading back covers. The owner, an older woman with kind eyes, struck up a conversation. They talked for over an hour about books, life, starting over. Emma left with 2 novels and a feeling she hadn't known in a long time: peace. Josh texted her a few times in the following weeks. Not to beg. Not to guilt her. Just updates. A photo of the cactus she left behind. A thinking of you message on what would have been their 6th anniversary. She answered sometimes, but sparingly. They both knew the story was over, they were just figuring out how to live beyond the last page. Months passed. Emma moved into a small studio apartment downtown. It wasn't much, but it was hers. She painted the walls a soft sage green, bought fresh flowers every Sunday, and let herself play music at full volume while she cleaned. She even started a new journal, not for pain, but for growth. Her therapist called it reclaiming her narrative. One night, almost a year after she'd left, Emma ran into Rachel. She recognized her instantly, standing in line at the grocery store, a bouquet of sunflowers in her arms. Emma froze. Rachel turned, saw her, and gave a small, guilty smile. "Emma, hey." Emma nodded, tight-lipped. "Hey." There was an awkward pause. "I didn't plan for any of that to happen," Rachel finally said. "He told me things were complicated. I believed him. I shouldn't have." Emma studied her. She didn't hate her. Surprisingly, she didn't feel much of anything at all. "We were all just trying to feel seen," she said quietly. Rachel nodded. "Are you okay now?" Emma thought about it for a moment. "I'm learning how to be." It wasn't the closure she expected. But it was enough. That night, she lit a candle in her new apartment, curled up on the couch with a novel from that tiny bookstore, and realized something: healing doesn't come all at once. It creeps in slowly through good books, quiet walks, kind strangers, and honest conversations. Emma didn't stay. But in leaving, she found something far more powerful than the illusion of a perfect relationship. She found herself.